22, and during this pandemic, many people are feeling stress and anxiety from all the unknowns and going through the outbreak alone. Well, officials warn this could lead to challenges like alcohol abuse, especially for people working to stay sober. And many of the states have deemed alcohol or liquor stores as essential, and that could be a problem. So Peter Loeb and Ashley Loeb-Blassingame joining me now with some tips on how you can manage your stress and your sobriety during these challenging times. Good morning, guys. How you doing today?
Good morning, Stephanie. Thanks for having us.
You're watching TV or listening to a song. What do you do to maintain your sobriety when it's so challenging?
Well, thank you for having us. Sobriety right now, I'm a person in long-term recovery, and we're having to come up with creative ways to continue the coping mechanisms that many of us who are in recovery have carefully constructed over many years. And we're also having to help other people who are new to recovery learn those coping mechanisms in isolation. Alcoholism and substance use disorders thrives in the environment of isolation. So it is definitely no exaggeration to say that people's recovery is in jeopardy. Lionrock Recovery is offering COVID-19 anxiety groups, support groups for people who are struggling with anxiety around this pandemic. It was one of those things that we thought that we could use our experience, 10 years in telehealth, helping people manage anxiety to create this space for people who are struggling to come for free and talk with clinicians about what's going on for them and how they can change their life in isolation in order to combat those needed feelings of wanting relief.
Ashley, that's probably one of the reasons that it's so important to check on your neighbors and call your friends and make sure everyone is okay during this. According to Nielsen data, alcoholic beverage sales have jumped 55% here in the third week of March compared to the same time a year ago. And online rates for alcohol are growing faster than in-store sales. They're up, this is a staggering number, 243% this week, and that's ending March 21st. So, outpatient programs already growing nearly 40%. We see some light at the end of the tunnel here in the U.S. We're told that we are over the hump. Peter, what do you think is next as we move along here? People who are wanting to stay on their program and stay on point. Is it up to them to also stay in touch with their friends and reach out?
Absolutely. Online is really the only game in town at this point, and we're glad to offer both support group meetings as well as our professional practice, which, as you mentioned, was up 40% in the last month. At the same time, our free support groups have tripled in attendance over the last several weeks. So we're right in line with those statistics that you mentioned. And given that we don't know how long this is going to last, it's really about reaching out and connecting. We've found over a decade of doing work in telehealth, we've used Zoom for 6 years now, that it's a really strong medium. It's actually quite intimate. It seems like it wouldn't be because video, but in fact, you're so close to the camera. The feeling is that you're sitting much closer to the person with whom you're talking than you would in a room where they're across the space from you. So we think it's just about keeping on course and reaching out and connecting and trying to manage that anxiety.
Peter Loeb and Ashley Loeb-Blassingame with Lionrock Recovery. We thank you both for being here this morning. Some good advice, and we'll put a link up to your site on our Facebook page so people can connect with you and hopefully get the help they need and stay in the game.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Have a great day. And stay right there. We'll be right back with more on the morning.